Hello everybody and welcome to Southern Time Legends. Today I got a special guest here with me, Jamie Mccay. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Wishing deer season would be going a lot better right now.
It's been pretty rough. Well, I haven't been in the woods very much, but a little recap here. I'm starting this YouTube channel. Basically the whole purpose of this channel is to pretty much capture the stories of people's harvest or hunts or whatever, however you want to put it. Thing is when I have people come through these doors and you get to hear a lot of stories of people's hunts, and some of them's pretty good. But yeah, I'm also going to be doing a little bit of hunting content. Going to start trying to do a little self-filming. You may see some of that, and you may actually be seeing a little bit of taxidermy stuff. Just depends on, I guess, how brave I get on putting that content out. All this is new to me, doing all this recording and stuff, so basically just going to be raw. I would say some of it would be uncut. We kind of fooled around here in the beginning and trying to get in the hang of it, I guess you'd say. But these two deer you see in the background was actually early season deer, and I guess you'd say mid-season.
Yeah.
I mounted these deer for Jamie last year, and I asked him to bring them in for me to make a video, basically letting him tell a story of them. It's not really going to be no podcast style video or nothing, you know. It's just something a little different, just letting somebody tell the story of their hunt. You know, anybody that does bring anything to me and allows me to mount their deer, if it's something they want to do, and let me take the video, and you know, especially the little kids, that's going to be the most enjoyable. You know, some of that's pretty funny. So sit there and listen to some of these kids tell their stories and stuff. It's pretty enjoyable to hear.
Which some adults sound like kids when they tell them about their hunts too.
Oh yeah. We all get excited in our own little ways. But yeah, I guess we'll just get started. I guess start on the early season.
Well, that's my bow kill there. Last year I was out pretty tough year beginning with, and normally I tell somebody I don't have the expectations of getting on a good deer that early. It was in October when I took that deer. I was bouncing around, and I thought, man, I better go over here and give this a try. I'd scouted it out, I think, like 2 years prior, and never went in and hunted it. And I also had bought got the Skeletor tether sticks, and picked up one of them little XOP retrograde stand, which is really small, and for lightweight, and that way I'd have the option of, if I ever run into a spot that I ain't got something climbable, I can still get in the tree. So I got over there really early, probably about I would say lunch, and I eat, and I was gonna run in there and just make a quick look and then come back out if it looked good, and I tore out, and I probably made it about 100 yards, and I thought, man, this is gonna be crazy to go in here, and if it looks good, come all the way back out and get a stand and go back in. So I turned around, went and got my stand, and went on in, and as I was going in, I was seeing sign and seeing a lot of tracks. So I picked out, and I let the terrain's following the deer down through there where they need to be anyway, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to go back in. So the tree I picked out to climb, and it was a good thing I bought that little setup, because man, this white oak tree was so big. I went to swing that and still around. I couldn't even swing it to catch it. I had to, choke up, don't leave me a leader about that far out, swinging around just so I could catch it. And and I wanted to try evening hunt, because that'd be my first time going in hunting out of this little setup, and make sure I get up good and see how it go. And as I got up, I was like, man, if I get up here, this strap don't fit around this white oak off this stand, I'm gonna be upset. And luckily, everything worked out. It was fine. And like I say, it was bow season. I had the mindset of shooting a doe if it come by. Well, and once I got up there and got settled in, I looked at my watch, and it was, best I can remember, I don't forget what time it was, but it was 5 hours roughly before it got dark. I was like, oh my gosh, now this stand is small. If anybody's familiar with them, I mean, it don't weigh but 6.5 pounds. And
That's the Cold, is that the Cold War or?
no, I think the Cold War's big.
Retrograde.
Yes, I mean, it's small enough for me sitting in my boots, and maybe my toes are hanging off the end of it. I mean, it's
This is all, was this the first time out of it?
the very first hunt.
That's what I was thinking.
And I practiced a few times with it to get comfortable, but I wanted to evening hunt just to make sure everything went good. And I'd been up there, I don't know, a couple hours, and heard something, seen some does come out. And the rangefinder I have it's got a good magnification, so I used it to, I don't carry binoculars, I try to not take too much in. And so I'm looking at them through that rangefinder, and I was like, well, if one of them come on up here, I'm gonna shoot one of those. And I'm trying to watch them. And the acorns that year, last year, anybody remember last year, we had acorns, mass crop. And I'm trying to watch them weave up through the canopy, and next thing I know, they're up on the side of the ridge and they're going out of sight, which makes you a little bummed when you want to shoot something and they go on and you are bow hunting. But if I'd have shot one of them does, I never would have even got to see this deer, which I didn't know he was in there. I didn't run no cameras. I run a few cameras in different areas to see what's in there, but no history, no nothing of that deer. But anyway, it was about, I don't know, it was getting later on in the evening, probably around maybe an hour or so before dark, and I could hear a deer walking. And when he come into view on that other ridge over across from me, all I could see was the side. And like I said, I ain't got binoculars, and I'm looking, I thought, man, he ain't got much for tines, but I could see he had long beams. And I'm watching him, and when I went in, the acorns were just falling everywhere. And they was hitting and rolling down the side of the ridge, getting on the edge at the little branch that runs in the bottom. And man, he got up there, and all of a sudden he took a hard right and was coming down the ridge toward me. And as I'm looking down at his rack, I was like, man, I don't care how many times this thing's got, I'm gonna sling an arrow. So when he gets, and I done ranged everything in that little old draw. So I was good at 25 right in there, and I think I had my pin already on 25, a single pin sight. And that I no longer have, no longer run, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. Because on these deer moving, you range, move outside range, and move. Maybe it's just me, I can't handle the pressure no more, but I'll tell you that in a minute. So he gets down there, and he starts, instead of coming on out, he starts feeding on acorns on the edge, and I guess he already knew they was hitting and rolling, getting on the edge of this bank. And I guess they just walk down through there and be like a buffet to him. I don't know, but anyway, quarter way shot, man, I drew back, let it fly, and it sounded great. And he runs, I don't know, about 70 yards and stop. So I'm standing up in this stand, and I'm trying to listen for him to fall. Doing my hunting show thing, you know, because I've watched so many hunting shows, and I'm listening, and it's super quiet. And then I hear something, I look around at the tree, and he's on my ridge that I had climbed on, walking toward me. I was like, oh my gosh, I ain't got it. So my quiver was right here, I reached down, getting another arrow, and I knock it. I noticed that the cock vane is turned wrong. Cause I was having trouble out of flight last year, so I had a lot of arrows reflexed and went back to the, 3-blade
Right.
vane blazers. Cause I was running that mini vane, 4-vane, and man, that broadheads flew crazy. So anyway, that's why that wasn't tired. I thought I'd turned all my knobs. Anyway, I'm turning it and trying to watch the deer, and I'm facing a tree. He gets up there and starts working a licking branch on a scrape. I didn't have it. Now, I don't know if it was this year's scrape or maybe just a historical scrape, but after everything played out, I know it was one there. So I'm in this little stand, and because of my lanyard on my harness, I'm having to swing 180 all the way back around this way. If I'm above the deer, I'm maybe a foot above him. And
He's basically at eye level.
eye level.
Yeah.
If he wouldn't, I wouldn't. So I'm trying to turn this stand all the way around. And remember, this platform ain't big at all. In my mind, I thought when I get turned all the way around, this deer's gonna be just staring at me like that, where you make eye contact and bound off. If that wasn't the case, this son gun is still up in this licking range. I draw back, and then, you know, I draw back, and he starts coming out. Well, I thought I was shot him dead in the shoulder. When I released, I was on his shoulder. No, the pin was there. Well, man, he lit out. So I climbed down. Took me a little bit to put the stand and all that together, which I went up there and checked my arrow. His blood on impact. I said, okay. Got my arrow, put everything together, and the time I done all that, it got dark, or dark enough to cut on the light. So picked up the other arrow, went to the truck, put everything up, called my brother. I was like, man, I don't know why I held that pin on this deer's shoulder and pulled like it, or at least have it behind the shoulder. I said, but I don't know. He said, well, if he flinched, he hit him in the neck, he ain't gonna be too far. And so I called my other buddy, and he said, man, I'll be up there just in a minute. I said, okay. So I'm sitting in the truck. He makes it there. We go back in. Go ahead and take the deer cart in to get him out on. We start out, and the deer's bleeding. You know, it's not bad. It ain't like you hit the well house, but then again, he's running. I mean, he lit, and when he tore out running, he sounded like he run plumb out of the country to the next county. So we're going down through our track, and we lose him a little bit, and then come back up. And then once you normally on a shot deer find the pattern he's running, we stayed kind of on that same level at that point. And you know, when the blood is spotty from all the years of hunting, you're like, man, I don't know if we're gonna find this deer. Which we ain't made it far. Well, then as he's turning, going up the ridge where it's getting a little bit thicker, the blood starts getting better. So maybe he's slowing down. We get up on a puddle of blood, it's like this. I look at my buddies, when they find this deer. And then after that puddle, it's like pouring as you're walking. And then we'll come up on another big spot of blood. It didn't go just a little bit further than there he lay. And sure enough, I ended up hitting him right through the neck. So we get him out, and I was always curious of why such a bad shot. And I went back, I made another trip in there just to climb. I wanted to know what range he was when I pulled the trigger on my bow. Whether I seen anything or not, I just wanted to clear up some things just for me. So where he was standing at where I shot, it was 1 or 2 twigs, even though he was no more than 20 yards or so from me. I don't know if I had a deflection, caused it to get off and hit him through the neck. Could have, don't know. But he was 27 yards where I shot at him first. At 25, I should have smoked him, so I don't, with a 25-yard pin setting, but I don't know. I mean, I was way up, he's way down low, and at a little old branch bottom, and I'm on the side of the ridge. But it, I always cut up with one buddy. Man, I'm lucky. And he always tells me that's where, let's see, how did he put that? Preparation and opportunity comes, I forgot how he says it. No, you create your own luck also.
Right.
I said, hold on, let me tell you the story of what went on. And when I told him I got two, and the first shot went through the deer's leg, I went back and looked at photos because I asked my buddy, you sure I shot him through the leg? Because it's,
Yeah, I
been so
remember
long.
just sending me pictures of that.
And it's got a triangle cut right through the offside leg. And I was like, man, I've missed deer and they run to the next county. And actually to run an arrow through his leg and then turn around, this deer come up there and work a scrape and get to shoot him, it was just meant for me to kill this deer, because I've shot some, and anyway, just horror stories.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty amazing. I know you've told me, to get on a buck of that caliber that early, because this was second weekend
Yeah.
of season last year of October.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've always told me that that's pretty rare, I guess, as far as.
Yeah, you'll see one or two or hear one or two getting killed, but as far as me, I don't care to say it, I'm about to turn 50, and to see a rack deer like that early, best I remember, that's my first of all the years of bow hunting. My bow hunting, I'll pick it back up throughout gun season, and that's when I've seen my better deer with a bow in hand. But
I know you was talking about the one pin setup. My brother, which I might try to get him to see if he might want to do the story on it. We had actually went to Missouri last year on some public land. That would probably actually be a pretty good story. But he was shooting a one pin, and I remember him calling me saying that he just shot. Which now, granted, we wasn't too terribly far from each other, but I heard him when he shot, and could hear the deer and everything. But I know I asked him. I said, "Well, how good was the shot?" And he said, "Well, I don't know. I think it might have been good, but I really don't know. He was like 40 yards, and I was trying to move that one pin." He said, "I've got to change that sucker." He said, "I didn't get no time." And I've always been kind of leery of that for myself as far as having one. I like a one pin setup.
That's me. I like the one pin because your target, everything's got so much better view, but boy, I just can't handle
The pressure, I guess.
pressure. If you're hunting a food plot where the deer's standing out there feeding, giving you plenty of time, one pin's great, but I can't do it. And the horror story I was going to tell you about is, it was later in the season, and I'd heard one come and got ready, and this buck appeared. I was hunting kind of some thin pines where they had thin years ago, and this deer just eased up through there, and I ranged him at 40. Well, I put the pin on at 40. I said, when he steps out, I'm gonna shoot him. This deer turned on a dime and coming to me. I range again, I move. He cuts, I range, I move. And then before I know it, he's within, I said, that's gotta be 20 yards. I slammed it to 20, drawed back. And as he come on in, soon as and man, I don't know why, soon as he walked in the pen, I pulled the trigger. And it sounded like 2 2x4s. This deer bounces out there about 25 yards, and he's looking around, and an eastern gold tip is sticking out of his head. And man, and he's, normally a deer would run off, hit, but this deer walked, bounded off about 25, stop, look, walk, stop, look, walk, stop. Why I didn't try to get another arrow in, I don't know. I guess I was just too amazed at watching him. And he never did turn where I could see where it went in, but best by the angle and watching, I think it went right in here, right behind the eye, in front of the ear, right there. And I don't know. I don't know if he made it. I really feel like he didn't. Wished I'd have went back there in turkey season and done some looking, but when it thinned out a lot, but I don't know. I had another taxidermist talked with him. He said, if that broadhead got in there or cracked the skull, he said, once that brain fluid, if it ever started leaking anyway, the deer wouldn't make it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, that's a pretty good accomplishment as far as the early season, especially that early. I know we hear of a few that gets taken that early, but there's not many.
Right.
There's not many at all.
And it's still bow season right now, and it's been several nice ones across the state killed. Real nice.
Yeah, there has. There's been some really good ones.
And this is October, don't tell nobody wrong, the 21st, because we start out is tomorrow.
Yeah,
there's been some nice.
There's been some good. There's actually one right behind the camera right there that's been killed here. Pretty local. That's, he ain't no giant by no means, but he's a good deer.
Lot of character.
A lot of character on that deer.
That's something I'm waiting to kill, something with trash.
Yeah.
Out of all the game cameras I've run pictures over the years, I've only had one deer with trash. I only had an injury, but it was just a cluster on one side, main rack on the other, and that's it.
So, I do know that before this, you'd actually kill a doe on opening day.
Yeah.
So now you had a doe on opening day, which was October the 1st.
No.
Was
it
it
actually
not?
opened up September.
That's right, it did, yeah.
And that's
Because that was a first deer you ever killed in September.
mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying. And then you got this in like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I think so. And had no intention of shooting a doe that morning.
Right.
And I went in, a mile from the truck, and I done had 3 or 4 come by me earlier, and my bow hanger was in the way, but I had no intention. I was gonna go somewhere close to the road that evening to shoot a doe. And it was about 10:30, I heard more deer coming. I grabbed that bow, swung that bow hanger out of my way, cause that trail was behind the tree. And man, when they come in, she stopped in the right spot. I shot, and she didn't. This deer didn't. It didn't. The phrase, it didn't go 20. This deer didn't go 10. And when I'm looking at her, and I was like, oh man, what did I do? I guess it just so. Man, I just jumped the gun. I done smoked a doe, and here I am a mile away from right at her, a little over a mile, down off in a hole. And thought, man, what have I done? But I ended up packing her out.
To me, that's the best way.
Well, my first intentions, I said, I'm gonna get my car. And I walked up that old big old hill. I said, man, I don't know. And it's getting hot, really hot. And then I said, well, I'm gonna drag her to the top of the hill, this ridge, and I'm gonna skin her down and cord her up. Well, man, I started pulling her. I said, oh my gosh. I don't know if I was out of shape at the time. So anyway, I started side hilling. I said, I'm 100 yards or so from where I've been climbing, because I was gonna make another hunt in there. And I said, it's far enough. I mean, it's whooping my rear end over a doe. And I have a ratchet rope in my pack, and I've done it, quartering them up and them laying down, but man, the time you get done, my back's killing me. And I've seen some whack the quarters off and then tie them up in the tree, skin them down. But anyway, I take that little old ratchet rope, throw it up on a limb, and I pull them up with one leg, and I can skin them down like you out in the yard or on a gammon pole or skinning pole or whatever, get it all skinned down, and I'll quarter them out. And I don't do meat bags. You can go to Walmart, get the extra large pillowcases, and it comes in a nice compact pouch. And you can pretty much well put a whole deer in that pillowcase and keep from getting on my backpack. I'll drop that pillowcase down off in a garbage bag. And it gives you kind of a little moisture barrier there, keep it from sweating until you get the truck and throw the meat on some ice. But
That's a pretty good idea. Pretty good idea on the pillowcases.
because everything I found all over the years, if it's got a deer on it, pertain to deer, got a deer logo, it's a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
So
So recap, you've got a doe opening day, and then a week and a half, 2 weeks later, you end up killing him. And then you had your little mishap on
yeah,
the one walking around with the eastern goat tip in his temple. And let's tell us about this one. What happened with this deer here?
well, I do have a little bit of history on this deer, not much. One game camera picture in the area the year before. Stick some cameras in there and I get one picture, or let me take it back. I got more pictures the following year leading into the season. It's just one night, or leading into the morning. I don't know, he walked by maybe 4:35 and come back through, I think it's 6:30. I don't know if that white oak was already starting to drop right in there. That was it. Well, at least I know he was still in the area. Now, whether he stayed in the area with the velvet, and over the years I've learned not to, now, don't get me wrong, now I went back that ridge, bow hunted it once, muzzleloader hunted it once, and seen absolutely nothing. I think I 13 hours in the stand that one day. I don't know if that was with the muzzleloader or with my bow. But I had white oaks on that ridge dropping thicket up above me, and I thought, man, he's gonna walk out, and it might be right before dark. He'll slide out of that thick stuff, coming to get the acorns. Well, that didn't happen. That was a long day. And then I think I done that muzzleloader hunt. Still ain't seen a deer. Well, then it rocks on, and there's a ridge that see a lot of does on, so that's my go-to spot when it gets closer to rut. And I was hoping one of them was coming in, and I make a hunt in there, and I'm sitting there, and in the dark I could hear a deer walking up the ridge. They start busting acorns. It's all right. Well, then all of a sudden they pick my wing up, deer tear out running. I said, oh no. So I'm sitting there kind of, not really down and dump per se, but later on that morning, and I think the deer split. I think one of them went one way and another one run the other way. But anyway, an adult doe come out in front of me over there busting acorns. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching. I even film her. I take pictures, I film her. She's doing fine. Been there, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes busting acorns. All of a sudden that son of a gun snatches her head up, starts looking around, and tears out running. Oh, crap. And she runs off the ridge. And then a little bit later, I guess it was both of them come up together, end up being both from the same direction she come from. Looked like a yearling, and it didn't even make it over where I was at. It blowed and run off. I thought, man. So, sitting there, I don't know what time it got to be, and I was probably gonna make a all day sit. And I remember being stood up, and all of a sudden, here come a doe, and she just blisters by. And I remember just standing in the stand doing this. I wonder, and it, coyotes are in there too sometimes. I thought, I wonder if a buck's chasing. It didn't take long to know something's on its way. Man, stuff was breaking, grunting, coming up through our running. And I've never, me and running deer, it's on their side. I've not hit many running. And from watching all my hunting shows, man, and I've never macked or hollered at one, but this deer here, I could tell he was a good one. And I said, mack. He ain't checked up. Mack. He ain't checked up. That last mack, it was mack. He locked up, and I shot, and he run up, and he was looking straight away, and I shot again. Me with deer still moving, I'm shooting. I can always buy shells. I can't always go find these deer. And so after I done that, he's out of sight. Well, then I hear more grunting and breaking coming. It was a 6 point, maybe a 5. I watched him run on. And when they made it to where, and that doe didn't go far, she was, I guess, watching what was all going on, or listening, or whatever. And man, she goes to blowing, and they chasing her around the ridge. You can tell their direction, because I've had it done more than just this incident on more deer that was chasing a doe. She just, so I was like, man, I need to get down and see if I killed this deer. So I go down, I get out to where he was standing, where I thought he was at last, but I guess from me climbing down, maybe I lost where he was standing. So I get over there, and I'm standing, I don't see no blood. Well, this deer, she's taking them, and she's blowing and running, and it sounds like she goes back around by my stand. And I thought, oh my gosh, if this deer, if I didn't hit him and he got back on her and they run by my stand, I'm gonna be sick. So in my mind, since he was running straight, I start looking straight. And man, I'm kicking myself. I was like, it is no way I missed this deer. I was dead on him when I pulled the trigger. No way. So as I'm walking, I make a big loop in there. I come back around and I loop around and go back the way she was blowing. I said, go back to my hunting shells. I've seen them so rutted up, even though they hit, they'll get back on that doe. I thought, well, maybe he done that, and them other bucks coming here chasing, maybe that's what he done. So I make that loop, and I ain't found nothing. And I get back on the same ridge. I'm coming back up from where I'm looking. I said, well, there's a little bit of deadfall right in there. I said, I wonder if he broke to the right. I'm gonna just go and look there to see. And I mean, man, my lips poked out. I'm calling a tracker. I'm coming back in this evening, tonight, whatever. Ain't no way I missed this deer. So I get back to where I first looked, and I start going where he'd have to take a hard right. So, oh my gosh, there's my deer. And man, as I'm going toward him, I run into a blood trail that anybody would see. And I guess from being from the highs of highs to lows of lows, man, it was hard not to be a little emotional, choked up when I was like, man, you know. And so then the task was on getting him out. And
especially one that you've actually had a little history with.
Yeah, not enough to, I mean, I've had my heart set on that sit right there on top of cameras and all that and everything, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go what I knew and listen to all the old timers hunchy does when the rut's getting close. And anyway.
Yeah. Well, not only did Jamie allow me to mount both of these deer, but like this deer out here, I got the phone call to go and help drag this deer, and I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, he says you're how old?
I'm about to turn 50.
About to turn 50. Me and another buddy of mine calls him daddy just because of that age. But not only, but for a man that's almost 50 to be able to go and like, this deer was a long ways. And I guess really by the crow flies, it's really not that bad, but by foot, it's...
By foot, that ridge you have to pull?
There's some terrain that my hat goes out for you. I mean, you better be in shape. And I do, I really appreciate you letting me mount these. I know.
I'm just hoping I can bring another one over here this year. It's not looking good, but
it's still early.
It's still early enough. Done a lot of after season scouting, found some sheds I'm really really hoping to put cameras in there. And man, I've had the awfulest look out of cameras. I wanna pick them up and throw some of them about as far as I can throw them. Where I had found the sheds, I went in there hoping to have him on that camera on that damn trail. And got to where I would delete pictures. Well, one, I remember doing it, and I guess that's the card I got. I deleted the file. So the card was never formatted, so that meant no pictures. So I don't even know if he's in that area. I'm hoping it's a home for him since he come back and dropped his antlers there. Anyway, we'll see.
That's a sickening feeling when you go to check a camera that's been soaking for a little while, that you've done walk forever to get it there, and then now you done walk forever to go and check it, and then all of a sudden it's.
I got two more that's done that to me this year. One run 21 days and just cut off. I thought first, man, it was this past weekend. I was like, man, this thing has took so many pictures, the baggers are dead. I brought baggers in there because I was gonna move the camera. And when I pulled that SD card, I went to cut it on and it wouldn't come back on anyway. That's when I thought, man, the baggers are dead. I've got a bunch. So when I swapped cards, when I put that other card, I think I pushed it up to check something and it come on. Oh no, so then I put it in my card reader and it run 21 days. And when I cut off, quit taking, I don't know. So then I had another one. I put it in a spot and pulled that card. It basically done the same thing. Run 20 some odd days. Sure goodness I didn't pull the same card and put it in another camera. I had deleted them pictures. I'm finna mark it. Cause I'm blaming, I done went and bought another camera to replace the one from early summer. If it shows card error.
Look, I've been slacking I'm gonna say, well, last year, I didn't run any cameras last year. You know, I told you I got on one particular area and there's actually one decent deer in there, and I pretty much let cameras ruin my season.
Right.
I just focusing on that same little area. I've always heard that and never really, took that in consideration that hard, but it does happen. I experienced that firsthand. So I know last year I didn't run any.
Well, normally when season hits, all mine are out, and I'll leave one or two on certain spots just to see. But the same incident with that one that quit on me, I had batteries to swap out and all that. But after it quit on me like it did, I was gonna move it to another trail. I said, forget it. We come down here to hunt, not to chase cameras, and I took that camera and I brought it to the truck. So
I like to have them out, but after that year of me getting, screwed up with cameras for that year, I told myself I wasn't never gonna do it again. But I did go and put one up this year on a pretty promising area that I think I put it out opening day of bow season this year, which was, I guess, October the 1st. And I'm not going to check it until after I come back from Missouri, which will be 15th or 16th or so. But, Jamie, I want to appreciate you letting me mount these, coming on, talking about it, telling your story.
Man,
A lot of people just don't get to hear the story side. There's some, you get into some, but I just feel like the stories is more enjoyable.
Oh yeah, it's something we all sat around and do at work. At
We'll sit
Walmart.
on the phone and talk for hours. I mean, I've heard these stories over and over and over, but like.
Get in trouble with your wife because you're at Walmart because we all over and run into somebody and start deer hunting, and
Yeah.
then you get chewed on.
Yeah.
But
Well, look here, guys. I'm located in North Alabama, so if anybody wants to bring a deer to me, I would be happy to take it in. I will give it a little information. I will be my cutoff. I'm going to be trying to take in between 100 and 130. Not 100% sure, but it'll be somewhere around in there. I will not go over that. I'm all about, when I got into this, was basically just trying to get into it. At first, this was what, probably 3 years ago, I guess. Maybe 4. But I got into trying to mount deer, basically just, everybody was booked, everybody was full, or people was behind and just couldn't get to them. I figured I'd start it and really got into it just mounting my own deer. Well, long story short, I never got to mount none of my deer. I just had buddies that wanted me to mount deer for them, and it kind of went from there. And then I've had people, Jamie was one of them, Tony Myers. I've actually got to mount a deer for Tony, and they just kind of pushed me into it. Hey, I think you may have it. You may need to try to start doing it. So I kind of went from there, and it's kind of, I'm not gonna really say exploded yet, but it's, I do have a shop here. Everything I did last year, I took everything that I made to do this shop just to have it. But I'm gonna do deer. I'm gonna mount deer and a little bit of turkey work. Mostly just fans and wing mounts and stuff like that. Eventually may get into full body turkey mounts, and might get into some exotics later on. But it's all about me trying to get things done in a year's time, so that's what the cutoff's for. I'm gonna get everybody's piece back to them, preferably before the next season gets going, if not at that time. But if you're interested, my phone number is 256-522-8084. Call me, text me, doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm located in North Alabama, and I'd be very happy to take it in.
And also look you up on Facebook under Southern Times.
Facebook, yep, Southern Times Taxidermy. I've dabbled a little bit in the TikTok stuff. That's kind of a new thing for me, but yeah, guys, I appreciate it. If you like this content, just like, subscribe, whatever it is you're supposed to say, do, whatever. Like I said, this ain't nothing to me to try to explode on. I'm just gonna put the content of people's stories out there primarily, and a little bit of my hunting content. Really don't know how self-filming is gonna go. That's something new to me. So we got a Missouri trip coming up, and I'm gonna try to get a buck on film with that. So we'll see how that goes. But Jamie, I want to appreciate you coming on.
Man, yeah, enjoy it.
We'll catch y'all on the next one.